everyone, Lisa here, aka Maggie and Milo. I'm here with another episode of Saturday Stash Dive. So this is episode number 5, and our focus for the month of July is going to be on letters. So for this particular layout, I wanted to choose a really long quote or title that I really liked, and I wanted to use that as my title. So I showed you in the prep video my inspiration picture that I had found on Pinterest. And so if you want to go back and see where that came from, just go back to the prep video and then you can see all the products that I pulled as well. So I did all of my title work on this wax piece of paper, and that way I can make sure I got the proper spacing and I had the right letters that I liked and all that good stuff. So you can kind of see on the left side of that wax paper I have quite a build up of extra letters that didn't work, so I'm just going to leave those out and maybe use them on my project life or something like that. I didn't want to put them back on the sticker sheet and have them peel off because they would lose their stickiness. So you saw me take those Heidi Swap the little tile letters, and I inked them up with Tumble Glass Distress ink, and it was just the right color of blue. I didn't want it to be a grainy blue, and I was having a hard time finding it, but that Tumble Glass is a really nice light blue that kind of matches the sparkly U up in the top of the title. And how I did the title is I started up from the bottom and then I got to a certain point and then I started from the top down, just because I knew I would have to glue down those Scrabble letters. I wanted to make sure I had enough room for them to be glued down. So that's kind of the reason why you'll see me jumping up. You saw me jump up to the top and start working my way down again. And then I had these letters that say truer than true, and I had them on a separate line when I was putting the title together, but that's an easy fix. I just put them on the same line, and then that way they kind of took up that little bit of room that I had left. And then you're seeing me outline them with a black pen just because everything else was black. Somewhere I wanted to kind of add a little bit more black in just to kind of make it match the other part, and then I'm just gluing down those Scrabble tile letters. And that was one of my finds that I found in a garage sale. I didn't even care that they had all the letters or didn't have all the letters. I knew I was going to be using them for scrapbooking, so that was a pretty good snag. I think I got it for maybe 25 cents for the whole game, and she told me that she didn't think all the letters were there, but I didn't care. So, and then I have some gold glitter tape in the background, and I really debate on using it, and you'll see it kind of make several appearances throughout the layout, but it doesn't actually end up on the final page. And then here I was just debating on this blue paper, whether I wanted it to just be a matte or if I wanted a whole strip piece. And I really like that blue paper. I loved the Shoreline collection even when it first came out, and it's been sitting in my stash, and I think I have to give it some more love again because I really like that Shoreline collection. It's so bright and fun. And then this is that Pebbles stripe paper. You saw me pull out the Dear Lizzie Lucky Charm heart paper. It was just a little too distracting, so I opt to go for the Pebbles Seen and Noted chevron, yellow chevron. And again, you can kind of see me fiddling with that gold glitter tape. And here I'm just going to cut a strip of this paper, and I don't care whether it's straight or not because I'm just going to use it up as an element at the top. I did do a sketch for this page, so if you want to see the sketch for it, again, is in the prep video. I think I might show it towards the end, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. But anyway, there was an optional line up at the top to kind of maybe pull in some more elements up at the top of the page. So I opted to do that this time. And then you can see me fiddling with some stickers that are from the DIY, or sorry, not DIY shop. They're from the On Trend collection. So you can see me pulling them out. And then this is a 4x6 journaling note card from the Dear Lizzie Lucky Charm paper, and I showed that in my prep video. And I was going to use the one that had the hearts on it, but I just didn't feel like it went. And then this one had some really nice lines on it for journaling, but it had the noted part on the right hand side, so I just flipped it upside down, and that way it's covered underneath the photo. So I could get away with that. So I really liked how that turned out. And then you see me pulling in that blue butterfly sticker from Maggie Holmes. And I know it's really hard to see on camera and it looks like I'm not really doing much of anything, but right there is where you'll see in the close-ups it's that string that I got from Walmart, and it's like multicolored. And when you see the picture close up, it's got all this kind of really soft sparkle behind the picture, so it does really look quite nice. And then I took some inky black Mr. Huey's, and I did some big long big splotches of ink. Oh, and there you can see me showing you I stitched all the way around, and it's really hard to see because it's such a fine detail. And you know what I should have done is I should have laid down that part of my the background paper in the back underneath that stitching so that it fit a little better, but it was okay. I made it work anyway. But I think next time I would just you know, put all the layers underneath that title paper and glue, or sorry, sew right over top. So here you can just see me outlining those pieces in black pen, and I just really went to town on the lines. I didn't even do one line or two lines. I think I did like 3 or 4. I just kept going back and forth. I have a hard time doing straight lines, so if I go back and forth, I seem to keep it a little straighter. Like if I go really fast back and forth, I seem to be straighter than if I concentrate on making a straight line. If I just don't think about it and then I do it, then it seems to work a little better. I hope that makes sense. Straight lines and me, straight anything in me, I have a hard time making it straight. But anyway, so back to the layout, and I'm just monkeying around with these layers to get these pieces to lay down straight. And this background piece of paper, that little journal card, was just kind of peeling up. It was giving me issues. And then I'm just going to glue that all down. And those 2 labels are again from the On Trend collection. I just liked how it had like the pops of the black and cream to it. And there's where I pull in that string. And again, it's really, really hard to see. So you just have to maybe wait for the close-ups on this time to see how well it looks. And I'll just glue that down. And then you can see me coming in with those strips, and I'm just gonna make some lines with them. I put the glue down first. You'll see me looking for the glue, but I put the glue down first, and I realized I needed to accent them with some black. So I just took this package so that I could draw on it without having to worry about it stick to the paper and then I couldn't lift it up. So that was why I had done that. And then instead of having the really wide strip over top of the yellow, all I did was just go to the skinnier part because I had cut that strip of paper kind of on an angle. So that way I could, you know, get a little variation of sizing, and I just opted for the skinnier one over top of the wider yellow. And again, I did the lines on them, and I know it's a really thin strip, but I did put some lines on it just to make it look like everything else. And here I'm taking a doily that I had pulled in. I don't know if I pulled this in the prep video, so if I didn't, I'm sorry. But this is a doily, and I inked it up with Mr. Huey's Inky Black mist. And here I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to use, well, probably 3/4 of that half of a piece. And I like how it kind of looks like the rays are coming out of that doily. So I'm actually going to trim off a little piece of it just so that it sits a little flatter against that title piece. I wanted that title piece to be kind of its own element, its own little page. So that's why I didn't want to cover anything up. I think that's why I was being hesitant on putting that glitter strip down the side of the photo. I just wanted it to be a little bit more on its own. So there you can see how it looks like that burst is coming out of that doily. I really like that. That's a really cool look. And again, just kind of monkeying around with some placement of things. And what am I looking for now? Oh, here's where I bring out these mistable butterflies. I thought about bringing in the camera, but I didn't want to bring too much into it. And the lighting is going to be off and on here. Sorry, not the lighting, but the colorization on the video is going to be really bright for a little while, and then it's going to be a little dark. I don't know what happened to the settings on my computer, but they kind of went really weird. So I have to, I'll notice like halfway through that it'll be a little weird of a tinge. So I'm going to rectify that later, but for right now, it's really, really bright, so apologies for that. So here I'm taking that tumbled glass, and I'm kind of doing like an ombre look to it, but it wasn't getting to be the right color that I was looking for. So I'm going to take this Adirondack Sailboat Blue ink, and I'm going to use that to do an ombre effect on these butterflies, and I like that look better. It matched the colors a little better, and that is actually the color that I used for the mask in the background. I don't know if I had mentioned that, so if I didn't, I apologize. But it is that Adirondack Sailboat Blue was the color that I chose. So I started off with the tumbled glass and just kind of painted them up or inked them up, and then I would come along with the sailboat blue and then just kind of make an ombre effect with them. But I figured out if you started off with a lot of water on these butterflies and you just kind of dotted the ink onto the butterfly, it would just kind of spread out in a very watercolored look. So I think I'm going to use that in another video. I really liked how that looked. So that was a really neat look. And I'm going to just add a little bit more ink to this one here. And you can kind of see where it happened there, but it was just kind of really beaded out, and it looks so cool. So I'm just going to touch the very tips of those butterflies, and it just kind of really darkens that one side off, and it just bleeds into the other, and I really like that look. I'll say here that's where the color changed. So here's where I'm going to clean up my mask, and that is actually a better color. I don't know what happened to the colorization, but that is better coloring anyway. This is more truer color. The other one was a little too bright. So I debated on pulling out this big chipboard butterfly, but it was just way too big, and it would have been way too awkward, especially for this face. And then I debated on pulling this nail polish chipboard piece out, and I didn't use it. It just felt like it wasn't the right size. Everything else in this one side of the page is really compressed because the title takes up so much room that if I was to add a bigger element, it really draws your focus to it. It's almost like taking a 4x12 piece of paper and then almost like an 8.5 by 11 is kind of the correlation to the sizing of what you're working on. So you can't use certain elements that are really big in that small of a space because it just looks a little weird. Perhaps if I was doing a full 12x12 with that picture, then maybe, but it's one of those things where you'd have to kind of see how it would look. So here I'm taking out the stamp, and I don't know if I showed this stamp that I had pulled, and I believe it is, I think it's a Studio Calico one, and it's got these little triangle pieces on it. Yes, it is, and it has the ALF on it, and I don't know if I had mentioned that in my prep video. It feels like I did my prep video forever ago, but it is the Studio Calico stamp set that I think was exclusive to a card making kit. I'm not sure. But it had these little cute little sayings on here. Like it said, "Right now, I love this." And what was the other thing it said? Oh, it just had a little Starburst gold seal kind of looking, or Starburst seal. And so I'm going to use those three elements, but I'm going to ink them, or sorry, not ink them. I'm going to emboss them in gold. But first I'm going to take this one here, and you saw me cut the stamp. I know that's probably makes a lot of people nervous, but I just wanted the word friend. The little stamp said "miss you, friend," and I didn't want it to say that. I just wanted the word friend. So rather than you know, trying to find a different stamp set, I figured I would just make do with what I had. I could have used these alphas as well to spell out the word friend, but I just opted not to. I was going to take those stamps and I was going to spell out, like stamp out grade 9 grad, but there was no 9, and I was thinking about using a G for a 9, but it just looked weird. So here I'm just going to write it out. And I'm going it over a couple times just to make it stand out a little more. So here you can see me putting those stamps just down where I think I want to use them, and that way I can kind of see the sizing about where it's going to go. And I pulled these puffy stickers out and I put them down, but it just looked weird. Everything else was kind of really blue and black, but there's little pops of yellow, but that those little puffy stickers just didn't go. They were the right color, but just didn't look right. So I'm not going to use them. And so here I'm taking all those stamps that I knew I wanted to use, and I'm going to stamp them on this cream cardstock. And I'm going to do this a couple times because the first time didn't turn out, but I wanted you to see how I fixed that. So I take that gold glitter embossing powder, and you can see there it has a whole mess all over. So I just rub everything back in, and I have this dryer sheet. I don't have an embossing buddy or whatever you call those little embossing bags. I don't have any of those. But what I've been using is a dryer sheet. You can use either new or used, and all I do is just rub it really good all over the surface where I'm going to stamp it, and then I'm going to stamp it again, and then I'm going to go over that, and next time you see it, it'll be a lot cleaner. So you can see there's hardly any residue left. Actually, I don't think there was any. And here I'm just going to ink it, heat it up really, really well. And because it's glitter embossing powder, it's kind of hard to tell when it's done. It's just one of those things you just have to watch it, and it almost looks like it's moving because of the glitter. So I just heat it really, really well. And then I'll go back over it a couple times just to make sure that it's really well and heat set. And then I cut those out, and then I added black ink around each of those pieces just so that they would kind of sit off the page a little better, because they were going to be kind of cream on cream. I wanted to make it feel like they fit in. So if I just ink them up with some black ink, it seemed to kind of make them feel a little better on the page. And then here I'm taking my 1-inch circle punch and I punched that gold seal out. I could have probably fussy cut it out, but I didn't really want to fussy cut each one of those little points. So I just punched it in a circle and I was good with that. And then here I have another sticker from the Maggie Holmes and it says smile. I already have one that says smile on it, but I just thought it would add another element up at the top that kind of matched everything else. And it does have a bit of red on it, and there isn't any red anywhere else, but you know what? I'm okay with just that little pop of red there. So I'm just going to leave it alone and be happy with that. So here I'm taking my butterflies that I misted, and I'm trying to find a home for them. So I just pulled them all out and I leave them on the plastic sheet just so that I can move them around and see whereabouts they look good on the paper. You can kind of see I switched the small one from the top to the little cluster to the left of the photo. And then I'm going to take this smaller butterfly and put it to there's like this little awkward gap in my handwriting, and then the piece that says right now, and it just kind of fits that butterfly really perfectly. So that's going to be the home for that little butterfly. And then there was this other awkward gap at the bottom of my journaling, and so to me the school means kind of like numbers, and I had these this washi tape and it's got a whole bunch of numbers on it, and I kind of like the idea of using that. It was just a nice little you know, kind of homage or whatever you want to say to the school, or themey. I don't know what the word is. I'm sorry, I'm tired today. Anyway, so I'm sticking down these little butterflies and my little title. And this page didn't need a title because, like I said, that whole quote on the left side of the photo is my title, and that led into my journaling. As soon as I started taking this title, I knew what page I wanted or what picture I wanted to use. And this is, I think I explained this in the prep video, but if I didn't, I'll explain it again, or if you just want a refresher on it. My daughter, this is her grade 9 grad, and she's making funny faces for the camera, and this is just who she is. She's just a card. I think she's just so funny. So anyway, that's when I had that title on my screen, I knew exactly what photo I wanted to use for this. So here I'm going to take some of these wood veneer stars from Studio Calico, and I wanted to ink them up in that same gold glitter embossing powder that I had. So rather than doing each one individually, I decided I was going to be a little smarter about this, and I was going to take some embossing powder and smush it right onto all those stars and heat set them all in one shot. So it looks like a giant gold glittery mess right now, but they do come off of that piece of paper quite well. And so here you're going to see me heat set them. And this is where you'll kind of get to see how the color changes. So you can see it's changing almost from a really dark brassy color to a shinier gold color. So it's kind of hard to tell in person when they're done, but again, I just really heat emboss it really well on the gold glitter. If it's just my regular gold embossing powder, you can tell very easily, but the gold glitter just seems to be that much harder because it's really sparkly. And here I'm just taking all of these little stars and putting them in each embellishment cluster, which was a little harder on that left side of the photo because the string kept getting caught underneath those little stars. So it was a little difficult. And then I'm going to glue them down with the glossy accents. And then I think we're going to be moving on to some stamping possibly. Yes, so there was this gap as well where kind of that little butterfly sticker is, and I feel like it, or felt like it needed to be filled up. So what I've done is I took the letters that were in that stamp set, and I'm going to stamp out the initials of the school that she went to. Now, the name of the school that she goes to is quite long. So if it kind of makes you a little nervous why I keep stamping, is because it's a really long name of the school that she goes or went to. Let me rephrase that. She went to. So that's why it's a really long name. We abbreviated, of course, but this was just a nice way to add that information onto the page. And I use Stays On ink just because that sticker is a little bit of a slick surface, and I use that for the friend stamp as well. It just needed a little bit of something. So here I'm going to show you the close-ups. And I just love how this layout turned out. I love the blue, the gold, and the black tones, and I love all the stitching. I love the long quote. So I would love for you guys to give this a try. There's a couple ways you can join. You can leave a video response below, either by process video or just by a layout share. You can send me a link to your blog, like through a PM, or you can tag me in a Facebook photo, and I would love to see what you guys make. So stay tuned next Saturday for another episode of Saturday Stash Dive, where we will dive into our letters again and make another layout. So thanks for watching. Bye.